So we're into June now, and I thought I'd just do a little walk around the garden, a quick walk hopefully, and show you what's looking good that you maybe ought to consider for your own garden. I'm going to start with this one. This is Persicaria polymorpha. Now, some people get a little bit nervous when you mention the word persicaria, and there's really no need to worry about this plant. Certain plants, certain varieties will be spreaders, but not all of them are spreaders. This one is a fantastic statement plant. So although it's in that ring bale feeder, it doesn't really need to be in there because it is a clumper. I've just brought it into that just for effect really. Now this time of year it will start to flower, and it produces a lovely white flower, as you can see from that. So it is a clump former, and there's no need to worry about it. When it dies, it will all go back into the central clump of itself, and all you really need to do when it gets to the point where it's dead is just pull it out or chop it down, and no more than that. Now it will set a few seeds, but not many. I've never really ever found many seeds of this one, and I've had it years and years and in several other gardens. If you do want to guarantee to get some, you just simply chop into the main clump early on in spring when you first see it starting to come up, so you'll see the tiny little leaves at the base. Just get a spade in there and dig a chunk out. You'd have to dig quite a big chunk out as well because it works better from a bigger chunk, so something like a 5-litre pot would be good. Other than that, just search around for a seedling, which at some point you may come across. So that's Persicaria polymorpha, definitely and highly recommended by myself as being a very good plant for June. So I'm going to go to the grass next, and this one here is Calamagrostis acutiflora Forster, and one of my favourites, if not my favourite grass. Very statuesque, as you can see. Let's try and find a little one. So this little one, this was put in last year, just a split from an older clump, and it's what is that at the minute? Probably 3.5 foot, whereas the one to the left of it is about 4 foot, getting up to 5. They will go up a little bit further yet. The seed heads push up, and this particular one is a sterile variety. It has been known to produce the odd seed, but very few and very far between. I've never found one. I like to put it in clumps and en masse like this. It looks better. So when it gets taller, it obviously wafts around in the wind, a bit like a wheat field. And that's what it reminds me of, that's why I have it. But it's a really good grass. So although not a flower, very nice for June. So by the end of June, that'll be up to where it should be. Geraniums are good at this time of year, especially this one. And this one's called Geranium silostemum, a really nice one. And it's a very, very vivid colour, very. I just love it. Now when this is finished flowering, I will chop it down to nothing and it will start again and give you a second show. Other than that, it will self-seed around. There's another one here. This isn't a self-set. This was another plant that I acquired, but that's the same one. Oh, in fact, there's another one further back as well. I must have acquired 2. Now, I'm not going to go into roses, but needless to say, June is the season for roses. I don't want to recommend anyone in particular, but if I had to recommend a small climbing rose, it would be this one. This is Lilac Bouquet, and it is a beauty. I think that's been in there 2 years now, and it's starting finally to climb up the pergola. Getting there. So the other rose I'm going to show you for June is this one here. I said I won't go into roses, and I won't, but I can't show you any of the roses without showing you this one. This is Rosa Gertrude Jekyll. which is absolutely fantastic this year. We've had a good year for the roses, and all of my roses are doing well. Another plant that I would highly recommend is this one here. This is Astrantia. Now this particular one, as my regular viewers will know, is Astrantia Muriel's Gift. A very strong and robust plant, and it flowers for quite a long time, probably a couple of months if not longer, once it gets going, once it gets established. So this is a plant I acquired from a lady called Muriel, and I won't go into it again, but that's why I've named it after Muriel. So Muriel's Gift. Now, one thing you must be aware of when you get Astrantias is that they do set seeds around quite prolifically. So just beware of that, but it's such a nice plant to add into a border. Now, this particular variety, and it's not the same for all of the Astrantia varieties, but this particular one does best in a semi-shade area that's got damp in it, and this one, or this particular area, has certainly got damp in the soil, and it seems to do the best in this area. Now there are other Astrantias, other forms, and some of them are steriles, Buckland being one and Roma being another. So brilliant. Get yourself an Astrantia. June is a good time for Astrantias. Now the orange plant you can see there is a Geum. I'd like to say it's a brilliant plant to have out in June, and it is, but it flowers for quite a long time, that particular one. It's called Totally Tangerine, and because it is sterile, it tends to go on for quite some time. So although it's June, it's been flowering forever. So we'll move along to this one here, which is, I love this one, absolutely love it. If you've got a pond, this one would be a good choice to sit next to it. And that colour is just amazing. I'm trying to work out where that bit of sun's coming from. Oh, it's coming from behind me. I'm out, the sun's just going down. I don't usually film at this time of night, or not recently, I don't. But this is a fantastic plant. Look at the colour on that. And this is a Trollius chinensis and one called Golden Queen. Absolutely fantastic. The colour is absolutely amazing. Sorry for using the word absolutely a few times, but it is just brilliant. Highly recommended again. I can't say I've ever found any seedlings, and if I do find one, obviously you can't call it Golden Queen, and hopefully it would set them that look like this, but I don't know because I've never found a seedling. It's only been in there a couple of years, so time will tell on that one. Now another good one is Cirsium, and this is Cirsium atripurpureum. Well, Cirsium rivulare atripurpureum, and there are other varieties of this same plant, but this one is a really good one to have very early, but it tends to flower the most in June. Now I always cut this back once it's finished flowering, because again it's a sterile, won't set seed, so you need to cut it down, but the bees love it. See if we can get that to focus for you. There you go. So the bees absolutely love it, and they're on it all the time, so it will go over pretty quick once they've pollinated them. But because it's sterile, it won't really set seed, and it will just die away really. I chop it back down to the ground and it starts again. Doesn't have as many flowers as you can expect, but it's still a nice plant. Alliums are really good. Any allium really, Globemaster being a particularly good one. And the name of this one eludes me at the moment. And if I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. If I remember it. So alliums, good to have, but remember alliums are very, very invasive, so be careful. Now we'll talk about this one, Euphorbia dulcis, which a few of you seem to like. It's in full flower at the moment, and it's been flowering for 2 months at least now, and it will set seeds around. I've got loads of seedlings of this one, but it's definitely worth getting. So we can class that as being a good flowerer in June. More geraniums, hardy geraniums, not pelargoniums, geraniums. And I think that one, let's have a look, I think that's Sirac, a really nice form. Bit of a mess here. I've been cutting a viburnum bodnantens, and it's the plant over there. And although this isn't a video on how to prune your viburnum, I might as well talk about it while we're here. So if you've got viburnum bodnantens, there comes a point where you need to be taking out some of the older branches or stems. And the bigger, the better. Get rid of the bigger ones and keep the slimmer ones actually in the main clump. And that's just what I've done here. I could probably take one or two more out, but you really need to take about a third of the old ones out. Leave the rest. Otherwise, you're gonna cause a real problem with it. And then next year, I'll do the same again. I'll probably take a couple more out, and it'll keep regenerating, sending up fresh shoots, which is what you want, really, because you get better flowers as a result. I'll mention this salvia while we're here. This is Salvia Caradonna, probably one of the best salvias in my mind. Does really well every single year. Cracking colour. Let's try and get really close now. The bees love this. Now the sun's going down, so there's not as many bees around at the minute, but they do like salvias. Not all salvias are hardy. This one is. As far as I'm aware, it's very hardy. Definitely worth having. So look for that one as well. Salvia Caradonna. Sanguisorbas. I've really got into sanguisorbas now. This one here is called Sanguisorba Lum. A very early one. And very small flowered, really. Seed heads are quite small. A clumper, again. Nice. Nice for early season. And then there's another one here, a white form. Now, I have the name of this, but it escapes me what it is at the moment, so we'll put that up on the screen so you know what it is. But it's great. Clumping sanguisorbas are fantastic. I've got some later ones that are going to come up that are probably better than this. But for early season, which is June really, early summer, you can't go wrong with those two that I've just mentioned. This one and Lum. I must say, this is looking good now. While we're passing it, we might as well mention this as well. This is an elder, one called Laced Up. Now, it was doing terrible at first, so I moved it, and I moved it a couple of times, to be honest. And I do tend to do that sort of thing. I move them too much, to be honest. But now it's doing really well, so I'm going to leave it where it is. It's a very upright form, but it's really nice. I like it. I like the dark colour, and I like the dissected leaf on this one. It's a bit like Black Tower, but this one's got dissected leaves as opposed to solid leaves. Worth having. Now, we can't mention June without mentioning foxgloves, and I'm just trying to find one that I can get down to. There's one here that's looking rather nice, but I can't see the throat of that one. So we'll try and get to one where we can see the throat, and there's one across here. So we'll walk across here. I'm in the owl border at the minute. Not always easy to get in here, but this is a good one. Really nice. Look at the colours in that. It's just beautiful. And I've got several different foxgloves, just purpurea types. Initially, I just brought in 2 full stalks with seeds in, 2 different ones. Didn't know what they were when I got them. I just pulled them out of a garden, brought them here, and I just literally walked around the garden spreading them. As a result of that, every year I'm getting different varieties because I'm sure the DNA comes through these plants. So whatever they were, the DNA will push through. So that could have been from a plant several generations ago. Or it might have even been one that was here initially that the previous owner might have put in. I don't know really. But foxgloves are brilliant, and they are a June flower. So while we're here, we'll mention this Astrantia again. This is Muriel's gift again, but it's not as big as the one in the Cloister Pergola because it's on a bit of a bank. And as I said, it prefers semi-shade with a lot of moisture at its feet. So as a result, it's not as big as it could be, but it's not stopping it growing. It's still doing really well. I'll mention the euphorbias, but this particular euphorbia, which is one of my walking stick euphorbias, you probably wouldn't want to get into. So it does flower in June, but probably not one that you would want. And that one's called Salvia Caradonna, which is quite a mouthful. I think that's the correct way of saying it. I'll put it on screen again, but it's a really nice one. Now, while we're here again, another Astrantia. This one's called Shaggy. Not there yet, it's still growing, but it's a white form that I can highly recommend. Marjorie fish is another one, and a lot of people think Shaggy and Marjorie fish are the same one. I'm not sure, I'm no Astrantia expert. So we'll carry on up here. Garden's looking great, but I won't go through it all because I did a video of that the other day. Oh, while we're at it, we'll show you yet another Astrantia, because it is Astrantia season. And this is the one called Dark Desire. Absolutely beautiful, this one. A really nice form. Found up in Halifax by a good plantsman or nurseryman there, who knows his stuff. And the blackheads on it are probably the blackest I've seen. So we'll mention this one as well. Just having a sniff of it. This one's Valerian officinalis, but it produces flowers in June. So it's another good choice to put into your garden for this time of year. It looks good with my grasses. And it will self-set around. You just simply chop it down at the end of the year. It is perennial, but it will set seeds. And hopefully spread around the garden. Now, typically, I can't find one in my garden. It's only ever been this one. I look in vain, but never find them. Hopefully in the future, I will find some. So this is a hellebore called Agutifolia, or Agutifolius. I've just taken a load of flowers off a bigger form than this one, or a bigger plant down the garden, but I've left the flowers on here so that you can see what they look like. So a little bit boring for most people, but I like them. I think they add a little bit of interest to the garden. And the bees and actually flies love them as well. So it's a good one to include if you want something a little bit more unusual. And I like it because of the leaf. You can tell if it's Agutifolius because it has that jagged edge to it. And it's nice, and it's commonly called the Corsican hellebore. A very nice one. Behind it, another geranium, another hardy geranium called Cirsium. And it's really nice. It glows, really, that one does. As the light's dying away, it's starting to sort of like almost glow. So there's a classic geranium here, hardy geranium. This one's called Johnson's Blue. And the colour is pretty intense. Let's get closer to it. Pretty intense. And what I do with this one, once it gets past its flowering, I chop it back down. And then it starts again. It gives you a second flush. Not as good as the first flush. None of them ever do. But nevertheless, it's a really nice one. We'll go to this one next. This is a Luzula. Oh, what's this? A bit of a... Oh, I planted another plant. I was going to say that don't belong in there. Anyway, so this is a Luzula sylvatica. And it's known as the snowy woodruff. And it produces that flower. So it's been in flower for quite some time now. But as I'm a grass man, we might as well mention that one. Has been a June flowerer, although it started a month ago. So looking over there, there's a Thalictrum Black stockings. I love this one. It's new in last year. I've had it in other gardens, but it's doing really well in this garden because it likes where it is, because it's quite moist where it's sitting. And that colour is amazing. And the black stockings bit refers to the stems, and that is because it kind of intensifies itself because they are sort of shorter. Not sort of shorter, they are shorter. But it's a really nice plant to have, that one. We'll go around this way and have a look at it again. So the sun's sidelighting it, but it is a wonderful plant to include in your borders. Again, it will seed around. I don't know how true it comes because I've never had one that's seeded that I've actually found. Again, don't very often find them. In fact, I rarely ever find Thalictrums of any description, apart from the yellow type. They pretty much seed everywhere. Just trying to find something else that's flowering for you. Well, I guess we could call this a flowerer. This is a grass, Elymus magellanicus, produces a blue seed, but not a flower. So we'll bypass that, as we will this one. Lamus arenaris, but I just love this seed head. It's more like a wheat, which is a grass actually, so it does look really nice and it's statuesque. So that's lovely. And we're a little bit early for this one, but it might as well be included in June. And this one I got from Beth Chatto's, and it's a Rhaponticum. I call it Rhaponticum. And it's a really nice one. I'll put the full name on, but it does have pink tinges once it gets going. Now, they're not there yet. Another month really, but I'm still going to class it as a June flowerer because the flowers are out. But it's real unusual, and I've paired it up with that structure to the left of it, to the right of it really, the structure there. So they're a nice pairing, that one, that plant, and then the taxus behind it that's cut into balls, so a cloud pruning. So they all got kind of a similar look. So we're on the driveway, and this is Flomis Italica. Good for bees, as you can see, they're floating around. Excellent colour, and a nice soft leaf. Again, another perennial, but a June flowerer. And then to end with, we're going to end with this. This is Achillea Chrysocoma grandiflora. Let me get out of the sun. Right, so you can see that properly. So that is the seed head, or the flower head it produces. It will seed around and it will spread, a bit of a spreader, but I like that colour. It's got, yeah, little white little petals, and then the inner bit is more of a, what would you describe there as, a yellowy, creamy colour really. But it's a really nice Achillea, that. More unusual, as you can see. Definitely unusual. It can be a little bit floppy, needs a bit of support, and I will chop some of these off as and when they cause me a problem. But very, very nice. So there you go. A few plants or flowers that look good in June. So try and look them out, try and get one or two yourselves, because they're definitely worth including. And put them into your own borders. Let me know how you get on. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. Ta-da.